Ladies and gentlemen, when I look at the story of sustainability in India, I am filled with hope because this is not just about energy or environment or economics. It is also about ethics. It is about giving back to the children for cleaner air. India is sprinting ahead, but we are also extending our hand so that together as one global alliance, we can win this race. Thank you.
In the special address session, Manish Jain, Executive Director at Yes Bank, opined on the topic of Fueling the Future, a strategic view on financing India's green transition and decarbonizing the economy. Here are some takeaways from his session.
The Indian economy is at a point where it needs to grow quickly, but the challenge is to figure out how to incorporate climate considerations into commercial lending and investment decisions, while balancing the needs of credit expansion, economic growth, and social development. While proactive policy support and regulatory intervention have given India a significant head start, active participation of all stakeholders is needed to increase the momentum for achieving our ambitious climate commitments. Thank you.
Next in line was a power-packed panel discussion where industry stalwarts gave an exclusive insight on the topic of boardroom to breakthrough, making climate risk a core business metric.
Environmental risk cannot be separated from macroeconomic risk, from financial risk. They are so intertwined in today's world that at each time there is a capital allocation decision, you have to look at all of them.
Our industry is actually on the verge of fairly dramatic changes. The way we look at it, assets are becoming as much as data assets due to the proliferation of digitalization. In all areas of our business, the use of AI, machine learning, and digital technology is increasing. And that is going to open many new areas and business models. So specific ones we have seen, obviously now we are looking at renewable assets coming with storage. That would mean constant interaction with the grid, so areas of smart grid. We are reasonably big in installation of smart meters that brings in a lot of information and data available in the hands of consumers. And these are the kind of things which will become not new technologies, but standard technologies in our sector. So essentially, it's the advent of technology and digitalization which is going to bring in the most amount of changes. We will see two-way electricity flows. We will see people changing their demand patterns depending on the pricing in the grid and indeed the behavior patterns. We will see technologies going into the level of individual assets or machines in people's homes, so that those can be used most efficiently. So those are the areas and what we call, beyond the meter solutions, which is automation tools at the customer's end through which they can use their energy most efficiently. So that will be the area from pure setting up of assets to the utilizations of assets in a smart and digital savvy manner so as to maximize value.
In the Visionary Voices session, Deepak Rai, Managing Director, Bootes, spoke about the new age infrastructure and gave an insight into his projects, which are now translating the net zero journey of India's mission to becoming a Viksit Bharat. Here are some sneak peeks from his session.
We have policies defining India's net zero journey. We have business with resource and passion. And we have innovation that unlock new possibilities. Real process happens when these three elements come together. When vision meets innovation and innovation meets execution. At Bootes, we are proud to be part of this bridge from the world's first net zero library in Jhansi to net zero cold storage in Rewari to future stake home. We are showing that net zero is not a theory but a reality being built in Bharat today. Can you imagine a queue of children waiting to study in a public library in a small town? Yes, it's happening in Jhansi. These are real feedbacks, keep us going. Jhansi Library is not just a building, it's a revolution. It's produced zero electricity bill and generate more energy than is consumed. Operating cost is recovered from the visitors because they charge 10 rupees per visitors Over 250 children, especially girls, study these daily in safe and comfortable environment. In just 3 months, we deliver these projects and generally takes 18 months. So saving 15 months of the learning time, that's 27 lakhs earning hours added to society. It has become a tourist attraction, an engineering case study, and a profitable project for the UP government. So now let's talk about our backbone of India, our farmers. Even today, farmers lost nearly 40% of their produce. The reason? Poor storage. For decades, cold storage has been energy hunger and inefficient. Booters looked the challenge and transformed net zero cold storage. We built the world's first net zero cold storage in Rewari, just 1 hour away from here. Its impact is multi-layered for the economy, communities, business, and for the planet. One solution, multi-layered impact, reaching right down to bottom of the pyramid. And finally, the most personal space in our life, the home. Let me ask you, can you imagine a house without electricity connection, without sewer connection, 0-liter portable water for flushing, a home where AQI is below 50, the maintenance, uniform temperature, cooling and heating both, and with safe room to protect family in time of crisis. And beyond all, this is a home that is carbon negative and planet positive. This is not theory now, this is Bhutan's homes. The future is sustainable, and the future is being built here in Bharat today. The future will not be built by one company or one idea, it will be built by all of us together. Let's join hands to make Atmanirbhar and Viksit Bharat. Thank you. Jai Hind. Sustainability is a profitability, and so many things we can prove and it's going on. So majorly we have to consider the based on the not low cost, we have to go high performance of the project. So when we consider high performance of the project, and then we can plan good direction of sustainability. If somebody not considering sustainability nowadays is taking the biggest risk, because the climate is going change, lots of specification going change. So I think there's no way, no option. Sustainability is the only future and it's only business. We have good policies, but we have to execute these policies to covering and fulfilling our targets for 2030. So the challenge is how we are implementing and how we are executing.
In the session based on visionary voices, Vinay Kumar Jaipuriar, CEO at Delhi International Airport Limited (GMR Group), highlighted the aviation sector's green transition. Here are some takeaways from his session.
Green airport, if I talk about scope 1, scope 2, I think India has made good progress. Renewable energy adoption, good news is that India has already moved to close to 45% of green energy, and that is something that many of the airports have started adopting in India. What are we doing at Delhi International Airport? I would like to share. First of all, Delhi International Airport is the only airport in 70 million plus category worldwide to have achieved level 5 carbon accreditation, which is basically net zero carbon accreditation by Airport Council International. So it effectively means that our scope 1 and scope 2 emission is less than, we have been able to go to net zero by more than 90%. So we are currently at 95% in scope 1 and scope 2, and we are working with our other partners to reduce the scope 3 emission. Some of the initiatives which have actually helped us in doing that was starting from the design stage itself. So if you look at Terminal 3 and Terminal 1, the newly come up Terminal 1, both of them together are about 7.6 lakh square meter of area, all of which is certified green building area. And in fact, Terminal 1 has just received LEED Platinum from USGBC. We have provided with bridge-mounted equipments in both our Terminals 1 and Terminal 3. And in fact, the adoption of bridge-mounted equipment is fairly high. Close to about 90% of the airlines today use bridge-mounted equipment. That helps them reduce carbon footprint, because firstly, the energy that we use at Delhi airport, we are 100% green energy, because we have got something solar energy which is in situ, as well as rest of the energy we are taking from hydroelectric power. We have, during our recent expansion, also increased our rainwater harvesting, and we are on the verge of being declared as water positive airport. Then we have got a very robust system of actually using all our discharge through our STP. In fact, we have got a capacity of about 16.6 million liter per day of STP, and all the greenery that you see at the airport is actually done through them, as well as we also use this water in the washroom, so that reduces our overall water consumption. And only about 2 months back, we have also been certified as net zero waste to landfill platinum certification we have got. We have been the leader in terms of all the sustainability practices. So future of green airports, I see that there is more and more technology that is going to get adopted. There is more and more AI that is going to be used, which is going to improve the overall predictability of the airport operations. And we are also working very closely with all the stakeholders to actually promote sustainable aviation fuel. So this is all from my side. Thank you.
Some of the things that India has done progressively is converting all its electricity generation to green electricity. We already have got 50% of our total capacity, total installation of power as from green sources. So that is something which makes green electricity available for the people who want to use it. Second emerging trend is greenification, or basically converting to greener fuel for ground service equipments.
Right.
Because ground service equipments, there are plenty in number which supports aircraft turnaround. So that is something that we have seen in places like Hong Kong. There are already 95% of this, which is ground service equipments, which are running on green fuel. Third is airlines. So airlines are in the process of developing more and more uses of green fuel. So airports typically have to support their movement to greener fuel, whether it is sustainable aviation fuel or whether it is green hydrogen. So these are some of the trends that we have seen emerging. And in fact, we are working with all our stakeholders to ensure that we are adapting to whatever is required to move to a greener operation.
Next in line was another thought-provoking panel discussion based on the topic of industrial decarbonization playbook, transitioning hard-to-abate sectors. Among the bigwigs of the industry, Ruturaj Govilkar, MD South Asia, Mott MacDonald, and Kartikeyan Naren Sharma, co-founder at Sunshore Energy, shared their points of view.
Our power needs are going to be maybe 20x of what they are today in 20 years from now. So investing in renewable energy would be the number one focus, in my opinion.
The opportunity is we are fortunate to have so many options in front of us. We have competing technologies in this space, and probably we will have to make the right choice for that particular application.
I'm now in conversation with Mr. Ruturaj Govilkar. He's the MD South Asia at Mott MacDonald. Ruturaj, thank you so much for talking to us here today. This is a very important conference that we are here at today, but I wanted your thoughts on what are some emerging trends that you are seeing in green technology and climate solutions that you see reshaping industries in the coming years.
Probably this is one of the most important area, and at the same time probably the challenges which Indian industries and in fact the global industries they are facing. There are emerging technologies. So when I say technologies, well, if I take a holistic view, it's not only the technical part, but it's the complete solution which the industry is looking at it. And there are multiple solutions, fortunately. And the good aspect is they are competing technologies. So you may talk about a lot of green technologies like green hydrogen, ammonia on one side, okay. There could be EV solutions coming up, okay. There could be electrification of the industries, etc. So I guess multiple solutions are available, and the greatest challenge I see is to find the optimum technology and the solution for a particular sector which makes sense for that sector. So I guess that's where it is, and probably a very exciting time for the Indian industry to be in this space.
How can companies today inspire the next generation to become active participants in the sustainability efforts that are key at the moment?
Yeah, I think it's a very interesting question, and probably most of the industries are in this dilemma because on one side you see so many solutions on the table. On the other side, when you try to have the application done at your end and the journey begins, probably you start seeing those realistic bottlenecks coming in the way, right? So I feel a short answer probably would be finding that optimum solution, involving that next generation there, and then probably guiding them on that path so that then they can kind of carry that torch forward.
Thank you so much, Ruturaj, for talking to us and for sharing your valuable insights.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you.
I'm now in conversation with Karthikeya Narayan Sharma. He's the co-founder and chief business officer at Sunsure Energy. What are your next 5 years? What's the strategy for the way ahead for Sunsure Energy over the next 5 years?
Sunsure Energy today is one of the most preferred renewable energy suppliers to industries across the country. We are, stomping on ahead on the path to being one of India's largest around-the-clock renewable energy providers to industries and corporations alike. By 2030, we are targeting to achieve a 10 gigawatt installed capacity across solar, wind and battery storage assets.
What other steps, any specific industries, any technologies that you're focusing on?
Absolutely. We are most excited about enabling green data centers in India with, the massive adoption of artificial intelligence and associated solutions. The rise of data centers is inevitable in the country. They are going to emerge as one of the largest users of power alongside traditional sectors which we already work with, such as steel and cement. But for data centers, we have a very specific strategy which will enable them to take round-the-clock renewable energy even as they grow in their footprint across India. As of 2030, we expect to have almost 6 gigawatts of power that is going to industries, which includes data centers, and the other 4 gigawatts out of our 10 gigawatts is going to go to utilities and will be enabled by companies such as SECI, SJVN, and so on.
Fantastic. Well, Karthikeya, it's great to have spoken to you, to hear about your vision. All the very best to you and your team from us. Thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
In another exclusive session, Sanjeev Kanwar, Managing Director at Yara South Asia, where he stresses on the point that India must create an environment which encourages innovation.
One thing very extremely important for India is to create an environment which encourages innovation. There has to be an enabling environment which is really needed to bring in newer technologies into the hands of the Indian farmer.
I'm now in conversation with Mr. Sanjeev Kanwar. He's the MD of Yara South Asia. Hi Sanjeev, thank you so much for talking to us here today. First, if you could tell me, how is Yara India contributing, if you could say, towards achieving carbon neutrality? It's a very important thing, but especially in your field, which is in reducing emissions in fertilizer production and usage. I'd love to know what your company is doing in that.
Thank you for having me, and starting off a very interesting question and a challenging one, to be very honest. Let's address the production side of it. We have taken over the urea plant, which was run by Tata Chemicals at Baprala in UP in 2018. And it's 1.3 million tons gas-based urea production capacity is there. And about 2 years back, we have invested heavily in the plant to improve our gas efficiency. So after that, this investment has been made, our gas efficiency usage has gone up, increased by something like about 6%, and our carbon emissions have dropped by almost 9%. So that's how we are reducing the carbon emissions coming out of our own plant. And then we are also very active on the horticulture segment, where we supply our high quality products that are produced in Norway. And Yara is the lowest carbon footprint fertilizer producing company in the world.
So the starting point with us is when you work with us, it's urea, low carbon footprint as compared to the rest. And when you come in with the horticulture segment, again, we have a low carbon footprint. Here I would certainly want to bring in one thing is that climate change is the reality. It's changing very, very fast. And we are beginning to see a lot of changes in fertilizer applications that are happening across the world, not only in India, across the world. Liquid fertilizers are coming in, slow release fertilizer coming in, biostimulants are coming in a big way, organo mineral fertilizer coming in a big way. But it's difficult or it's very slow to get those new generation products into India in the hands of the Indian farmers because of regulatory issues. That is one area I think we really need to look at if we want to move Indian agriculture towards carbon neutrality.
Interesting. That's a very important point there. I want to come to you with a very different question now, because I want to talk to you about digital innovation, and I'm sure your first would be like, and I know viewers would also be thinking, hey, it's a fertilizer company, what are we talking about? But just wanting to know your thoughts on what are some of the kind of digital innovations that you've rolled out in India to help the farmers reduce emissions, improve the nutrient use efficiency. How are you using that?
We have invested quite heavily in the digital side in India. To be very honest, we have a digital hub where we have about 120, 130 IT specialists working out of Bangalore, and they are developing, some of the apps have been developed for the Indian market. So we basically have two apps with which we are servicing the farmers. One is directed at the retailers. Retailers, why? Because retailers, they advise the farmers on a regular basis. So we feel that if we can help the retailers improve their knowledge levels, then that knowledge will get passed on from them to the farmer, and then so on and so forth. And we have over 15,000 retailers on that app that we call as Yara Connect, and we very regularly give them intel on weather, crop, what kind of crops to be grown at what stage, and so on and so forth, which can help them to pass on the knowledge to the farmers, and also it secures their business also. And more interestingly, we have an app which is known as Farm Care, on which we have almost 4 million farmers available. And we know the crops that they grow, we can ring fence it, and then we can deliver knowledge to the farmers on need basis. And most important need that the farmers have is on weather. The farmer doesn't care, like I'm living in Gurgaon, and the farmer is living in sector 54, I'm living in sector 53. The farmer doesn't care if it's raining in sector 54, but if his farm is in sector 53, is it going to rain on his farm or not? So we are able to give him that it's going to rain on your farm for the next 15 days, so he can take informed decisions. This is how we are able to help him take informed decisions, and then he can decide when to use fertilizer, so there's no wastage of any nutrient that he's applying.
Wow, that's very specific, and like you said, of course, it's very helpful to the farmers to get on time, spot on information through the power of technology. Thank you, Sanjeev. It's been an absolute pleasure wishing you and the team very well for the way ahead. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have a nice day too. Thank you.
You too. Thank you. Thank you. Next in line was a special conversation with Nitin Gupta, CEO at Attero Recycling. Here are some takeaways from his conversation.
The entire supply chain of waste handling in the country has a lot of informal sector players involved as well. In our case, we have used significant AI and blockchain to disrupt this and make it much more seamless, much more digital.
Attero is a leading electronic waste and lithium and battery recycling in the country today. We are also extracting more than 22 plus critical minerals. So sustainability and climate goals is core to what we do. It's part of our DNA. As a company, we have more than 47 granted global patents on various recycling technologies developed by us. And all the materials that we take out are in a very sustainable manner at a very low GHG footprint. In the global context, the entire geopolitics that's playing out and the critical minerals demand that's playing out, it's extremely important that India takes the front position and breaks China's hegemony in being the main supplier of critical minerals globally. For doing that, in our opinion, urban mining or recycling is the path to take. To do that, India needs to become the recycling hub of the world by making sure that we are able to extract all these metals and critical minerals by recycling in India and then supplying to the world. In that, Attero is rightly positioned to help us reach that goal with the best-in-class technology for recycling all kinds of end-of-life waste and extracting all kinds of critical minerals that we are doing today. And we're looking to scale this up at 100x from today. I think it's a wonderful experience. The kind of conversations that are happening at ET Edge are sort of on a varied spectrum of topics, and some of those sort of topics are sort of giving out insights which are fairly new. So I think this particular conversation is extremely critical, and I enjoyed it thoroughly.
And I think in the coming year, the most important impact we're going to see is from agentic AI. That is going to help improve the data quality that all of these companies require in order to measure their sustainability footprints. The other role of agentic AI would be to simplify and create and bridge the awareness gap that exists between Indian MSMEs and large organizations. I think the most important step that businesses have to take today, Clinton, in order to achieve a low carbon future is to start proactively engaging their value chains, especially their suppliers, not just their tier 1 suppliers, but their tier 2 suppliers who contribute a huge part of their product carbon footprint. The most concrete step that businesses today can take for a low carbon future is to start engaging their supply chains, especially their tier 2 suppliers, not just their tier 1 suppliers, to improve the value chain transparency that contributes a vast majority of their product carbon footprint. I think India, to achieve its lofty climate and sustainability goals and its own net zero target, needs to promote the adoption of AI tools being used by corporates in order to streamline the transfer and the calculations that are required for all of the raw sustainability data and material consumption data for all of the different industries, especially the hard to abate sectors. I think we at Breathe ESG have been a member of Global Sustainability Alliance from the start and have been following the journey over the last 3 years, and I'm very heartened to see every year it grow to new leaps and bounds with better agenda, more corporates becoming a part of the fold, and true conversation and deal making happening.